If you're over 60 and still relying on milk for strong bones, it's time to rethink that habit. For decades, we've been told to drink milk, eat yogurt, and pop calcium supplements to fight bone loss. But here's the truth. As we age, our ability to absorb calcium from dairy actually decreases, and too much of it, especially in supplement form, can even lead to kidney stones or calcified arteries. That means the very thing we thought was helping us might actually be setting us back. But nature has another solution, hidden in plain sight. Nuts. Not just delicious snacks, but tiny nutritional powerhouses loaded with the minerals your bones truly need. We're talking about magnesium, boron, plant-based calcium, and even vitamin E, all wrapped in a crunchy shell. Unlike many dairy products or supplements, these nutrients come in a form your body recognizes and absorbs more easily. And the best part? You don't need to overhaul your entire diet. Just a handful of the right nuts each day can make a measurable difference in your bone strength, especially when combined with movement and a generally anti-inflammatory lifestyle. As we get older, bone loss speeds up, particularly after 60. Women face this faster due to the drop in estrogen, and men aren't spared either. We quietly lose density, especially in the hips, spine, and wrists, until one day a fall results in a fracture. That's often when the real problems begin. Loss of independence, long recovery times, and in some cases, life-threatening complications. But the good news? It's never too late to act. And what you eat plays a bigger role than you might think. That's why the spotlight is now turning toward the micronutrients we tend to overlook, especially those found in nuts that aren't just tasty, but medicinal in their own right. These nutrients help regulate bone turnover, improve calcium retention, and even reduce inflammation that can make bone loss worse. In fact, researchers have found that populations with higher intake of certain tree nuts tend to have better bone mineral density, even when calcium intake is moderate. That's because nutrients like magnesium and boron act as helpers, ensuring that calcium actually ends up where it belongs, inside your bones, not floating in your bloodstream. And many seniors are unknowingly deficient in these key minerals, even when they think they're doing everything right. That's why relying on dairy alone might give you a false sense of security. In this video, we'll walk you through the top 5 nuts that can help rebuild bone strength after 60, along with why they work, what nutrients they contain, and how much you really need to eat. We'll also debunk some common myths along the way, like whether almonds really are the best choice, and which healthy-looking nuts are actually stealing calcium from your bones. So grab a handful, and let's crack open the truth behind stronger bones without pills, powders, or plastic bottles. Let's start with one of the most underrated bone builders out there, Brazil nuts. These large, creamy nuts are best known for their selenium content, which supports immune function and thyroid health. But they're also surprisingly rich in magnesium, one of the most critical minerals for strong bones. Magnesium works hand in hand with calcium, helping it integrate into bone tissue more effectively while preventing excess calcium from building up in arteries and joints. Without enough magnesium, calcium simply doesn't know where to go. And the issue is, nearly 50% of older adults in the US are magnesium deficient. Brazil nuts help bridge that gap. Just 2 or 3 nuts a day can provide up to 25% of your magnesium needs, along with healthy fats that lower inflammation, a key factor in age-related bone loss. Next on the list, almonds. These are often the first nut people think of when it comes to health, and for good reason. Almonds provide a steady dose of calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus, all essential for bone structure and remodeling. They're also high in vitamin E, which may help reduce oxidative stress that can degrade bone cells over time. But what makes almonds particularly powerful is their boron content. Boron is a trace mineral that plays a vital role in bone metabolism, helping your body hold on to calcium and magnesium, and also supporting vitamin D function. Without boron, the body struggles to regulate these minerals effectively. A handful of almonds, about 23 nuts, can offer nearly 1 milligrams of boron, which is considered ideal for older adults aiming to preserve bone mass naturally. Then we have walnuts. Now, you might think of walnuts more for brain health than bone strength, and that's true. They're loaded with omega-3s that protect cognitive function. But those same anti-inflammatory compounds are powerful allies for your bones, too. Inflammation is one of the silent drivers of bone thinning, especially as we age. Chronic low-grade inflammation, often fueled by sugar, processed foods, or stress, breaks down bone faster than your body can rebuild it. Walnuts help cool that process. They also contain manganese, a mineral that supports collagen production. Why is that important? Because collagen is the flexible protein framework inside your bones. It gives them the resilience to resist fractures, especially in the hips and spine. By now, you might be wondering, how many nuts should I eat to see a real difference? The answer isn't a giant bowl. In fact, a small handful, about 1 ounce or 28 grams per day, is usually enough. That could mean 2 Brazil nuts, 7 walnuts, or 23 almonds. You don't need to overdo it. In fact, moderation is key, especially if you're watching your weight or managing blood sugar. The magic isn't in the quantity, it's in the consistency. When you make these nuts a daily habit, you're sending your bones the message: stay strong, stay supported, stay ready for the next chapter of life. Let's move on to hazelnuts, a lesser-known but highly valuable nut for bone health. Hazelnuts are rich in manganese, which, like magnesium, is essential for building the collagen matrix within your bones. This matrix acts as the internal scaffolding that gives bones their strength and flexibility. Without enough manganese, the mineral deposits, like calcium and phosphorus, have no structure to hold on to, resulting in weaker, more brittle bones. Hazelnuts are also high in vitamin E and healthy monounsaturated fats, both of which help protect your bones from oxidative damage. But there's another advantage. Hazelnuts are an excellent source of folate. And while folate is more often talked about in pregnancy, its role in aging is crucial. Low folate levels have been linked to elevated homocysteine, a compound that increases inflammation and has been associated with greater risk of fractures in older adults. By keeping homocysteine in check, hazelnuts may quietly help preserve both your bone strength and your cardiovascular health. Next, we can't ignore pistachios. These bright green gems do more than just satisfy a salty craving. They offer a unique nutrient profile that includes potassium, magnesium, and even plant-based protein. 3 things your bones love. Potassium is especially important because it helps balance out the effects of high sodium intake, which can otherwise lead to calcium loss through the urine. Many older adults eat too much salt and don't realize they're flushing calcium away day after day. Pistachios act as a buffer against that, helping you retain more of the calcium you do consume. Plus, they're one of the few nuts that also contain a small amount of vitamin K1, a nutrient that supports bone mineralization and works with vitamin D to regulate calcium use in the body. But while these 5 nuts, Brazil nuts, almonds, walnuts, hazelnuts, and pistachios, are your best friends after 50, not all nuts are equally helpful. In fact, some can actually backfire if you're not careful. Take cashews, for example. While they do contain some magnesium and copper, they're also relatively high in phytic acid, a compound that can bind to minerals like calcium, iron, and zinc in your digestive tract and reduce their absorption. This doesn't mean cashews are bad, but if they're your go-to snack and you're not balancing them with other mineral-rich foods, you might be undermining your efforts. The same goes for salted, roasted nut mixes. Many of them are cooked in cheap oils high in omega-6 fats, which can promote inflammation when consumed in excess. And remember, inflammation is a hidden enemy of strong bones. So if you're eating nuts every day for your bones, make sure they're raw or dry roasted, unsalted, and ideally organic. You're not just feeding your hunger, you're feeding your skeleton, quietly and powerfully, every single day. Now that we've covered which nuts to eat, let's talk about how to get the most benefit from them. Because what you pair with your nuts and when you eat them can make a big difference. First, try not to eat your nuts in isolation. When combined with vitamin D-rich foods like eggs, sardines, or fortified plant milks, the minerals in nuts, especially calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus, are absorbed more efficiently. That's because vitamin D acts as a gatekeeper, helping these minerals move from your digestive system into your bloodstream and eventually into your bones. So, a simple snack like a hard-boiled egg with a handful of almonds isn't just tasty, it's strategic. Similarly, pairing nuts with fruits like oranges or strawberries adds a vitamin C boost, which your body needs to build collagen, the protein framework inside bone. Think of it as building strong walls, minerals on top of a flexible foundation, collagen, both of which are essential to prevent fractures. Timing matters too. Studies suggest that consuming magnesium-rich foods like nuts in the evening may actually improve sleep quality, which is crucial for bone repair. While we sleep, the body enters its most active phase of healing and rebuilding tissues, including bone. So enjoying a small handful of walnuts or pistachios after dinner might help your body recover more efficiently overnight. Just make sure the portion is modest, around 1 ounce, because nuts are calorie-dense, and overeating them late at night could interfere with digestion or sleep in sensitive individuals. Also, don't forget hydration. It might seem unrelated, but water is essential for transporting nutrients into your cells, including bone cells. If you're eating all the right foods but you're chronically dehydrated, your bones may not be getting the message. This is especially important for seniors, since thirst sensitivity decreases with age. Keep a glass of water nearby when you enjoy your nuts, especially if they're dry roasted, which can slightly increase your body's water demands during digestion. This small habit can make a big impact over time, improving not just bone health but joint lubrication and overall energy. Lastly, consistency is more powerful than quantity. Adding nuts to your diet for 1 week won't suddenly reverse years of bone loss, but making them a daily ritual can slowly tilt the scale in your favor. Whether sprinkled into oatmeal, added to a salad, or eaten as a snack between meals, these nuts act like slow-release medicine, natural, nutrient-rich, and supportive. Your bones don't need extremes, they need stability. And that starts with your daily choices, tiny ones, repeated over time. So don't wait until you're told your bone density has dropped. Feed your bones now so they'll still be strong enough to carry you through every step of your next chapter. As we wrap up, it's worth emphasizing that strong bones aren't built by any one food or habit alone. They are the result of small, consistent decisions made every day, decisions that respect the way the body changes with age. After 60, bone loss is no longer a distant risk. It becomes a real and measurable process, especially if you're inactive, undernourished, or missing key nutrients. But it's also a process that can be slowed, stabilized, and in some cases, partially reversed. The 5 nuts we've discussed, Brazil nuts, almonds, walnuts, hazelnuts, and pistachios, each bring something unique to the table. And together, they form a powerful toolkit for building and preserving bone health in the most natural way possible. Of course, nutrition is just one piece of the puzzle. If you want to get the full benefit of these bone-friendly nuts, make sure to pair them with light resistance exercise like walking, stair climbing, or using resistance bands. Bone is a living tissue that responds to pressure. Every time you challenge it, even gently, it responds by reinforcing itself. So don't be afraid to move. You don't have to lift heavy weights or join a gym. Simply making it a habit to get up and stretch, use your muscles, and stay active throughout the day signals your bones to stay strong. And the nutrients from these nuts give them the building blocks they need to follow through. It's also worth mentioning that bone strength is not just about avoiding fractures. It's about preserving independence. Your ability to get up from a chair, carry groceries, or walk confidently outside is all tied to bone and muscle working together. And while most people think about their heart or brain when they think of aging, it's actually the loss of strength, especially in the lower body, that leads to the most life-altering declines. That's why a simple, daily handful of nuts isn't just about nutrients. It's about keeping your foundation solid. It's about aging with confidence. So, the next time you reach for a snack, consider skipping the chips, cookies, or empty crackers. Choose something that works for you, not against you. Choose something that builds you up from the inside out. A small bowl of mixed nuts, heavy on almonds, Brazil nuts, and walnuts, can do more than satisfy hunger. It can quietly nourish your future. You won't feel the difference tomorrow, but in a few months or years, when you notice your posture hasn't slouched, your balance hasn't slipped, and your bones haven't let you down, you'll know. You made the right choice.